You can also click the link in my bio and you can see other social proof in other fields. Now I've got that out the way. Let's get on to the class. Motionomics is what I'm calling this one. So I need you to pay attention. Motionomics. Okay. So as a business and as a creator, motionomics is the most important thing you need to know. Okay. It's the most important thing you need to know in order to be successful. And I'm saying this as someone who currently only has about 12,000 followers of motion, okay, on TikTok. So it's not that much. That's what you call a micro influencer, okay, micro. So my whole thing of making probably not in one, 2 to 4 videos on YouTube is my whole shtick, okay? I'm making sure that I do 2 to 4 videos uploaded on my main channel every day. That's the main channel. I also have my diary channel, okay? This is where I decompress my thoughts from a full day of coding for 15 hours, fixing bugs for ungrateful, nah, I'm only joking, they're not ungrateful, for users who want to win on the internet, okay? And because I am a black man scientist, I must do more than my counterparts because nobody would believe that a former rapper and producer can be scientific. But I am a scientist, which I told you in the beginning. So I do science things every single day, hence my motionomics video. But that aside, you need to understand motionomics and how it all works in this day and age. Because if you don't, you're going to be cooked like KFC chicken, okay? You're going to be cooked like some chicken on a barbecue in the summertime in the middle of Atlanta, Georgia, with the mandem in the background, right? You're going to be fried chicken cooked. So motionomics is essentially aura. That's part of motion, okay? You need to have aura. And what do we mean by aura? Well, you need to have some kind of riz. And what do we mean by riz? You need charisma. You need to have social proof. You need to have views. You need to have, business doing well. You need to be traveling. You need to have something. You've got to have something because the harsh reality is if you don't have anything, motionomics is going to probably be the worst class that you've ever taken in your life because how the internet is morphing these days is it's so quick. Things move very fast, okay? And as they move fast, you also have to move fast. And then we have AI. So when you break down motion, you cannot just be a micro influencer. That's not going to cut it. 11K, which sounds cool on TikTok. I've done over, I think, 50 million views. But the fact of the matter is it means nothing because I can't sell anything to those people, right? So I can't convert my motion into profits because I missed the window because I didn't know that TikTok was going to send me all of these people who were lunatics about a specific subject. So that is kind of washed now, right? I just don't even post on there, which is insane. So being a micro influencer is not going to really get you to the top of class of motionomics. You need to be someone who is really powerful. Remember that scene in Scarface when Tony says, first you get the money, then you get the power, and then you get the chicas, right? You got to get the money first. You've got to get the money first. Now, some people will tell you got to cold outreach like 1,000 people before you get any responses. And to be honest, they're probably right. They are probably right because it is a numbers game. So if you don't have motion, then numbers, let's move that out of the way. It's from my previous video. But yeah, if you don't have the numbers, okay, then you've got to make the numbers up in some shape, way, or form, right? That says numbers. So that could be cold outreach. That could be, speaking to 150 people a day. Do we think that's going to cut it? Probably not. Those are rookie numbers. So what do we have to do? We've got to dial that up because an unhinged person is going to do 750 cold outreaches a day. And they're just going to sit on that phone and message and message and message until someone responds. And the law of averages will tell you, and especially in motionomics here, that if you're contacting 750 people in a day, there's a good chance, a good chance that you are going to get a positive outcome. Now, this is difficult when it comes to content because what these gurus don't tell you is, okay, so I have to make content, obviously, we just know that. But how the heck are you supposed to do 750 cold outreaches and even one video, long form and free short form a day? You literally would wake up and then do nothing else other than that. Because customizing 750 messages, is pretty ridiculous. Even if you could do 100 in a day, you still need time to shoot content. So motionomics, you have to really be an advanced student here, and you have to break down what actually is going to move the needle. What moves needle? Okay. That says moves, and then this says needle. Right? What is going to move the needle? You have to pick one. You cannot do all of these. Okay. If you're going to do 750 outreaches in a week, then that's the thing that you're doing. If content is more suited to you and you're playing the longer game, then that is your thing. A crazy man will tell you do both. And I'll say, oh, yeah, if you've got the time, or if you've got some AI widget that can do a lot of the stuff. But if you outsource that to AI, this guy over here, the quality of this is going to go down. And people getting so much throughout the day that do you really think some AI widget is going to leapfrog anybody else? No, unless you've trained it on like years of data and gigabytes of data that is actually good data, phone calls, emails, stuff like that, then it's not really going to, provide much additional value for the customer. You know what I mean? So you've got to pick your battles here. And in this class of motionomics that we're all in as entrepreneurs and creators, we're all trying to get out of this category. You might not even hit this category. I'm talking from experience from a monetized channel and getting tens of millions of views and seeing how that whole virality thing works and actually repeating views, 100 views, 100K views, 300K views, 500K views, 50K views. When you get in these views, you're starting to see what actually moves the needle. And what moves the needle is things like this: aura, riz, content, science. Okay? I wouldn't even say AI. Obviously, everybody who's selling AI is going to tell you, just do AI. And it's like, shut up. But these things here, aura, riz, and science and content, those are going to really, really move the needle. And without them, you are pretty much invisible. That is the harsh reality. You are invisible. And you don't want to be invisible because you're not going to pass the motionomics class. You're just going to stay in this category or below that, like, I don't know, 20 followers, something like that. Right? Followers. But you got to pick your battles. Which one do you want to do? 2 to 4 videos a day? That's doable. Right? 750 cold outreaches. I would say 5 days. That's reasonable. You could do that. But you're definitely not going to do anything else because you're copy and pasting and tweaking and reading and customizing. That is long. So if you pick your strategy, stick to it. Me personally, I'm in the content space. As I told you, someone who has made money from content, different types. This is my lane. I have Riz, I have Aura, and I am a scientist. So it would make sense for me to stay in this lane, to pass the class of motionomics. Now, you might be someone who's got a business and like, you know what? This Santino Brillan guy's got a point here. I have no aura, no riz. I'm not a scientist and I hate making content. But you're going to have to find someone who can make the content for you. Then you're going to need the science and tools to actually monitor your motionomics movement, right? Not AI and OpenClaw failing because, cron jobs just stop working. Like, no, I'm talking like logical software. That's my lane of science, right? Moving from precious stones and minerals and diamonds and watchmaking, right? These are my fields of science. I have also moved into technology science, which I've always been in as a scientist, as a young lad in college, and as a older lad in university, and now as a grown up in business, software development, full stack software development, JavaScript, iOS, macOS. These are all scientific things that give me an advantage in this game, and they can also give you an advantage to get more customers if you use the right science and software. Okay, put that there. Soft. Pause. So you've got to understand what motionomics really means today. Because if you don't, you're going to be cooked and you're going to be in this category here: 20 followers, 20 views, and that's all you're going to get. So you see, on this channel, I'm doing all manner of things science, in the name of science, because I can. But because I have software and the right scientific tools, it's easy for me to do this part because I've figured out this. I put the pain of no aura, no riz for years. Even though I always had aura and riz, but I had to put down my old aura and riz from the music game, and I had to build up my scientific aura and riz in this technology game. And because I've built that up and I already had the music aura and riz, now those combined makes my content excellent. And it gives me the ability to make more content than 99% of creators. And that is all because I'd figured out what motionomics is. So for the past few years, easily, this is all I talk about and study every single day. This is why I have the tools like Alfina.ai, like first party, like 200 views, KPI done, the list goes on. This is why I have these tools, because I wanted to have a scientific advantage here than the people in this category with 20 followers and no views, no motion. You don't want to be this category. You do not want that. This is bad. Dumping AI onto every single thing, also bad. We use AI on a daily basis, but we don't outsource creativity to AI. No, because it's always going to be generic, and people can tell you whatever. Oh, look, I just voice chat and then it's got me this script. Do you think anybody else has thought of that? Of course they have. So this is where unique ideas come about. Ideation. The best videos on YouTube have the best ideas. Facts. You could get one video, maybe even this video, I don't know. It might get, 10 million views. I wish it did. That would be fantastic. It might get 200,000 views. That would be great. 50,000, fantastic. But the fact of the matter is, I'm doing something that is different. There's no AI here. It's just me scribbling on the screen. But visually, when I start to look at this now, I'm like, oh, wow, this is actually motionomics in full effect. And the only way you can understand this video is if you watch all of it. Because looking at that image, you are not going to know what that even means. And I'm probably just going to use this as the thumbnail. I think that would be appropriate for this video. But you need to know motionomics. To summarize here, you must study this. You must chat. I cannot stress to you how important this is to understand. It will help you in your journey in business. And yes, I am speaking from my own perspective of working in the scientific field, precious stones, real estate, finance, content, right? Technology. These are my fields of expertise. This is what I have spent my young years as a lad studying. So now it's time to unleash the Motionomics classroom to YouTube. So this is important for you to learn. If you do not learn this, you are finished. If you do not pick a strategy and stick with it, cold outreach, content, which one? But you're going to have to do one of these twos, if not both, to be top of the class of Motionomics. I hope that video was useful. I'll see you on the next one. Yeah.